Hey all, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review, and I hope you're all doing good. Sorry that it's been a while. I'm switching things around again, doing things in a different vein and in a different way, and because housework and my video game playing are not gonna do themselves by themselves, so I've gotta make things, a priority, and plus, I also have a lot of friends who like to do things with me, so trying to do a movie review when friends come over or anything like that, it's not the easiest to do. But hey, I do get it and I do understand it. Also, uh, if I find out that, for instance, that I try to do my movie reviews with, this current crop that you see, because I know my audio will probably sound a little different. That's because I have my microphone in, and my microphone is in. And you know what, that reminds me, let me double check here, because I know it will be a bit of a hindrance. Let's go to my I need to get rid of a couple things here. Get rid of that. And what the hell are you? Oh, you know what? I think that's what's happening right now. So, because if it's open, that's what's sort of going on right now. Because I forgot, because I know it sometimes helps not to have them all there. But I was deleting my older videos. But I am continuing with the movie reviews, and this is what I'm bringing you guys right now, and it is a continuation of Die Hard, and now we're getting into the ones that were still good, but now, I think not as good as the original first three that came out between 1990 or 1988, 1990, and 1995, and that is, Live Free or Die Hard, and I want to make sure I get it in there. I know it's hard to see because of the glare. Let me turn it there. Unrated. The unrated version of this movie, which is the version to have. If you have the original version of this movie without the unratedness and, the profanity, the violence, and all the wonderful Bruce Willisisms that are there that they don't have, I feel sorry in that case, because, man, if you liked it, hey, awesome for you, but the PG-13 version is flippin' trash. And I'm probably going to be trashing that up a little bit, because in many ways, that's what hurt this movie. That is what hurt this movie, was the PG-13 mannerisms, because Len Wiseman was trying to get this to a younger audience, and, he ultimately, I think, failed at that. I mean, this was the downturn of Len Wiseman's career after doing Underworld and Underworld 2. I don't know if he's done other movies besides those. I know he's been involved in the other parts of the Underworld series, and that's a series that went off a cliff after 3. But, hey, I don't understand it, I don't get it, I don't care, but I was thinking Len Wiseman was becoming a great horror action director overall, but yeah, I guess I bit the bullet with him before I could chew, and he's like everybody else, a goober who thinks he knows what he's doing, but hey, dude, you made some good movies, but are you technically going to be remembered for something other than Underworld? That remains to be seen, because personally, I've not heard anything from Len Wiseman since. So, hey. But sorry for that little rant, which I'll probably get into a little later again. This film came out like years later from the original. Oh yeah, 2007. So a year later after Len Wiseman did Underworld 2. or Underworld. Oh yeah, Underworld Evolution, I think it was. Underworld Evolution, which is Underworld 2. And even though that movie was a good movie, he did this a year after that, and he had the right idea for the Die Hard movie. I mean, obviously, as you can see, he got right on the front cover there. Bruce Willis has come back to play John McClane, to where John McClane is basically still a cop. He's on duty. He does things in this film like watch over his daughter, make sure his daughter doesn't get taken advantage of by boys. There's actually a part where he's watching over Lucy McClane, and there's this guy who's seeing Lucy, and like after Lucy goes into her apartment, John McClane interrogates Lucy's one-night stand or boyfriend. I forget which he is. I don't know if it worked out well or if something happened or if Lucy was liking him, but either way, John McClane intimidates this guy, and it's like a hilarious scene where this dude's uncomfortable, and John McClane basically threatens him, and typical McClane mannerisms that we've come to know and love. And then, like, I guess you could say, starting out in the beginning of this film, we see where the villains are targeting other computer hackers, because they were using these computer hackers to get, like, IP addresses or contacts within the government, because I guess these hackers knew the deep web, and the villains end up taking out the hackers with like virus bombs, which I've had friends tell me that there's no way in hell you can use cyber technology just to send a bomb to somebody and have it explode. I mean, I forget if that's what they were doing or if they were actually leaving bombs. I mean, if they were leaving bombs at their place of residence and then, blowing them up and trying to kill them, that makes tons of sense that way. But I don't know how exactly they were doing it again. If they were just sending it through the computer to blow up their computer and overload their computer with the ridiculousness, or, actually planting bombs at their place. When they would activate their computers, they would explode, because that's what the villains do. Whoever helped them out, the villains, like, take out all the hackers they used to get into the national government. And I mean, overall, John McClane is sent to do this, and then he's, here to protect a hacker. There to protect a hacker played by Justin Long, and, it's like a whole, like, they become a tandem in this movie, Justin Long and Bruce Willis. So John McClane is, dealing with Justin Long. He, warms up to him slowly, but he doesn't like this kid. He's like, hey, this is how we do things, and this is, not how we do stuff, and it's strange, and, they don't get along too well, because, John McClane is of an older generation. Obviously, he grew up, a young man's 70s and the 80s, and, obviously grew up on music of our parents' generation, my generation, and all that stuff, so, he's into that, and, Justin Long's into more of that current stuff, and they drive each other nuts all the time. And, like John McClane basically uses this hacker to find the villains, to track them down, and it becomes a huge, terrible escapade, leading John McClane to try to set things right, to keep these villains from getting away, this group of ragtag cyber criminals that, were well put together and knew what they were doing and using others to a T, and, it basically just becomes a huge cat and mouse game between them and John McClane. John McClane never giving up, taking a lot of bumps and bruises, always, like doing what he needs to do to beat the bad guys, and at times showing no mercy. He does show mercy at times, but yeah, when they don't let up, he really rips into him, which is what I've always loved about John McClane. And, Bruce Willis plays the role, like, very well, especially when, at some point in the movie when they kidnap his daughter, he's like, you hurt my little girl, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, and like stuff like that. And it's like, well, yeah, because if you bring McClane's family into it, you're a dead man, basically. And You know, it's almost like in most of these movies except for 3, his family gets brought into it, and it just becomes a huge, like, bizarre wild ride for him and his family all the time. Which, I mean, I don't mind in some ways, and I'll say this again on a side note before I continue the characters. For John McClane, like, in the first movie and second movie, it was his wife. In this movie, in the third movie, you know, I guess you could say it was his relationship with Zeus, but they were already working together once the movie got started. And it was more of a vengeance thing between him and Simon Gruber. This one becomes, you know, him trying to reestablish a close relationship with his daughter, because his daughter finds his dad weird, and she's not as estranged from him as Jack is, but, you know, you have, like, all these, different weird things going on, and, you know, like, Lucy always thought her dad was weird, she didn't understand him, and then in this movie, she gets to know him more, and reconnect with him, and love him in that way, and then in the 5th movie, it's about him finding Jack and reconnecting with Jack. So, if McClane is really going to happen, and if they're still calling it McClane, or if it's going to be Die Hard 6, or Die Hard something or other, if they're really doing one last Die Hard film, the only thing I could see is them going back to his wife, hopefully getting Bonnie Bedelia for the 6th movie again, and, because I think it would have to be Bonnie Bedelia. If you get somebody else to play his wife, it's going to be too weird, because if you've seen the first 2 movies, you know Bonnie Bedelia played Holly McClane, or Holly Gennaro, however you want to go about it, and that's the only way I could see the 6th movie coming about, unless they have another decent plot that they could, go through and do, and then that way, you know, it could work itself out. But I mean, that just, you know, remains to be seen. But that's how I could see these films moving forward. If McClane does become a thing. In some ways, I hope it doesn't, because 5 ended it well, and it would have been perfect the way they ended 5, but, you know, hey, if they want to do more, that's up to Hollywood, and that shows how Hollywood is sadly run the well dry of movies, which is not... I mean, it's not creativity. It's people are saying it's lack creativity. I'm like, oh, there's still tons of creativity for westerns, horror, science fiction, drama, comedy. There's still a lot of room to create new movies, new films, stage plays, what have you. It's just, you know, people lacking creativity and doing stuff for money. That's why I have no respect for Hollywood. They're a flippin' insane, mostly liberal fucking city. And, you know, I mean, this is why I don't go see a lot of new movies, guys, because it's like that. Now, on a side note here, I wanted to see the new Tom and Jerry movie. I heard again from a few reviewers, I'll probably still want to see the movie. I'll probably maybe even get the movie because I am a Tom and Jerry fan. But I heard it's mostly about the humans, where, in a way, Chloe Grace Moretz is like Jerry, and Michael Pena is a bumbling fool, almost like Tom. And I'm like, you know, I was, Chloe Grace Moretz I was sort of excited to see. I thought it was cool that Michael Pena was in the movie, but I was hoping they weren't going to overshadow Tom and Jerry, and that's what fans have said they've done. You know, the humans have overshadowed the main characters of this movie again. So, in essence, the humans are the main characters, and not the other characters. And, you know, that's sad because, I mean, it happened in both the AVP movies. It's happened in a lot of other movies where they bring other characters in, and, you know, when it's based off of something else. And you're like, when you base it off an iconic character, the iconic characters sort of have to take center stage. It can't be second stage. They have to be center stage. But Hollywood has this thing of like, well, oh, we need some big names to circuit that, and since we have a big name, the big name has to be there. It's sort of like, what could I compare it to on this little side tangent that I'm on? Oh yeah, Suicide Squad, where in many ways everybody knew that Margot Robbie, who played Harley Quinn, should have been the main character, and she mainly is the leader of the Suicide Squad, and everybody else sort of not takes a back seats, but they share the screen and time, and even in the comic books, they share the abilities and things with her. But, oh no, Suicide Squad became more of a Will Smith fest, and Will Smith, the Deadshot, taking the role, because Margot Robbie was not as big, and Will Smith was, so they used Will Smith to move the movie around, and yeah, that didn't go over well with me, and I know that didn't go over with a lot of fans, much like Jared Leto's Joker, but oh god, we'll get into that another time, possibly. Oh, Lord. To think that, you know, on a side note here, that I would like Heath Ledger's Joker now a lot more than, yeah, Jared Leto. But anyway, rant over on the slide. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to have it become about another film when I'm talking about Die Hard. This is how passionate I am about movies, guys, so hey. Let's see. We have, and like I said, we have Justin Long, who plays the hacker in this movie. His name is, well, if I can get my crap back up here. His name is, let's see, what was his name again? Oh yeah, Matt Farrell. He plays Matt Farrell, who is the hacker, one of the hackers that the cyber criminals were using to get like their information into the government and coercing these guys to do everything. They took out all of Matt Farrell's contacts, and some of them also were his close friends. They took everybody out at the beginning of the movie, one by one. That was part of what John McClane had to investigate, and John McClane actually goes to Matt Farrell's house a little bit after the beginning of the movie, and when he's there, you know, you have Matt Farrell not there yet, and Matt Farrell comes into his house. You know, John McClane stops him. They have a little tiff, and then I think it was like where Matt Farrell was trying to turn on his computer, and I guess there were guys watching outside Matt Farrell's house to see if the bomb would go off. I can't remember if the bomb didn't go off or if McClane saw it and stopped it. But what happens is the cyber criminals, they come in, start shooting up the place. You know, you have John McClane answering back. Matt Farrell's getting all freaked out, not knowing what to do, and, you know, just like whimpering and like that. Like, I can understand. I mean, I have not had any revulsion or ill feelings to Justin Long. He's not the greatest actor. I don't hate him for it, but I will admit he can get annoying in this movie a lot. So, for my friends who do not like Justin Long, I completely understand why they don't like him. Because, oh my god, him in this movie, like, I will say, for me personally, Justin Long was decent, but oh my god. Like, this is almost like if, what's his name? Richard Dick Thornburg was with John McClane through a mission, and he was, like, freaking out and things like that. Like, I would have rather had William Atherton make a cameo role in this movie, play Richard Thornburg, as if they were taking out, like, newscasters getting too close to these cyber criminals, and have Dick Thornburg work with John McClane on this, just, like, reluctantly, and be this cowardly guy until he would have to, like, step up and help him out at the end of the movie, more than likely probably would have been the case. But yeah, it's like, I can understand why people don't like Justin Long and why they also don't like Matt Farrell throughout this movie, because, oh man, yeah, he's like, just like, yeah. And, you know, they go together in this movie quite a bit. You know, like I said, going back and forth on taste of movies, music, how they live as people. Matt Farrell can't understand why John McClane is so violent at times, why he's gruff and tough. You know, I think McClane calls Matt Farrell a sissy. Like, how do you live with all your computers? You don't get out into the real world. You don't know anything. You can't see anything, which is true. A lot of these today's hackers, I mean, it's like if they were playing an online game or if they were serious video gamers. You know, a lot of people sit there in front of that and they never really do anything else. They maybe go out just to get something to eat, or they order it and they do various things with it, but that is all pretty much what they do. They really don't know how to interact in society, and in many ways, you know, Matt Farrell doesn't know how to interact in society, basically. Like, you know, like John McClane views him as a huge wuss, but, you know, they go throughout the movie working together, you know, like getting caught into these huge ambushes, you know, fights, and it gets really tough to where, like, Matt Farrell, you know, really wants to help John McClane after, because, you know, he's trying to protect him, and, you know, he owes him a lot in this movie, and he says, well, you know, we need to stop what they're doing, because they're, you know, they're going to cause, like, because what it is it's mainly about, again, money for the villains, as John McClane aptly puts in this movie, and, like, what Matt Farrell says is, you know, there's a guy that we can use to track these people, and it's Warlock, you know. Great cameo by Kevin Smith in this movie in many ways. I loved how Kevin Smith, who was a fan of the Die Hard films, and also, as we know, a big nerd himself, you know, showed up as a computer hacker in this movie, living in his mom's basement, and it's always funny to hear him yell at John McClane, "How dare you enter my command center, command center!" It's a basement. You know, it's like, that was just great stuff, and great to see Kevin Smith cameo. And, you know, that's where Matt Farrell really comes in to help out John, is that he starts using his hacking skills to slow down and stop the villains and track where they're at. And he tries to do what he can to help out Lucy McClane, because there's a part where Matt Farrell gets captured. He's trying to assure Lucy McClane, and, you know, he's also trying to slow things down for the villains, as, you know, John McClane is trying to rescue them. So, you know, Matt Farrell's got some good moments, and like I said, Justin Long can be decent in this movie, but he's not. Damn my USB cord. Sorry, guys. He's not, you know, the greatest. I have to admit, he's not the greatest character in this movie. We also have, oh yes, the main villain in this movie. Actually, give me a minute. I will get that up, but I also need to blow my flipping nose. So give me a moment. Have returned, and let's see. Timothy Olyphant, who plays Thomas Gabriel, who is the main villain in this movie, who basically, you know, like, he's this uncaring, uncharismatic guy. He, you know, doesn't care at all, really. He has a close-knit group of people he works with, but he's not afraid of cutting ties and letting people go or off the hook. And he definitely played a good villain in this movie. Nasty character. Again, I wouldn't say he is as memorable as any of the original three villains. Obviously, Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber, Simon Gruber, fudge nuts. Oh, Jeremy Irons. I had to think a Scar there from Lion King, but Jeremy Irons, and also William Sanderson, Colonel Stewart, and Franco Nero, General Esperanza. Like, those, I think, were way better villains in those three films than Thomas Gabriel, I think. Yeah, Thomas Gabriel. And what we learn from a FBI agent in this movie is that Thomas Gabriel used to work for the government. Like, he figured out a lot of the government's flaws within cyber activisms and warfare and even protection. Like, he found weaknesses that could be exploited. I think this FBI agent, who was his main senior or worked with him, they said they, like, shut him down and stopped him. You know, they didn't believe him that these things could happen. And Thomas Gabriel was using their own words that they put into action against them now, shutting things down to mess with them. And Thomas Gabriel's view, because again, this whole thing was about money, getting his due pay for them treating him this way. And he's just a sly, evil character, and he always seems to be in control. And once again, a lot of the cyber stuff they do in this movie, I really can't pinpoint it because I'm not as computer savvy, but I know a lot of people said a lot of the cyber crime and warfare, you wouldn't be able to do like more than half of it in this movie, because a lot of it is like ridiculous movie stuff. But I mean, that's what makes it a movie, is that you're along for the ride, and I guess you can believe it, even if you do spot the fake stuff, you can laugh at it and say, yeah, that would never happen. But you know, I guess, again, you enjoy it for what it is, because it's an action movie and a fun ride. And I mean, as we go along with Thomas Gabriel, like, you know, he's getting annoyed that, you know, John McClane's getting close. There's actually this one part, too, when he has a team of hackers working in this computer van, helping him set up everything he needs to set up. I think they get out near this federal, yeah, because this movie takes place in Washington, D.C., and they get out near this Federal Reserve, or wherever it is in Washington, D.C. that they're at. But they get there, and there's all these computer guys they're working with, and they achieve what they needed to achieve, and they're talking about how all these computer guys are gonna get paid all this money. And like one of Thomas Gabriel's main guys who he was working with, you know, they get up, and you know, he's talking with another one of his friends, and as he's talking with his one friend, you know, he gets up, he's saying he's going to go to the bathroom, and as soon as he walks out with Thomas Gabriel, Gabriel's men open fire on all the other IT guys and hackers, killing them brutally and mercilessly, and it's like, wow, that's messed up in many ways. But, you know, again, the less people you have to share things with, the more you take for yourselves, like how McClane says, it's always about greed and money. You know, you don't fret, I guess, cutting your losses and parts of greed. And as we move along, you know, Thomas Gabriel thinks he's one step ahead, but John McClane keeps getting closer. Like, he's outwitted a lot of the other FBI, the cops. He's dismantled systems. Nobody could track him. He's like a wizard with all this power. But when John McClane gets close, he kidnaps Lucy McClane, threatening her and, you know, wanting John McClane to stay back, saying, you know, if you don't stop, I'm going to kill your daughter. You know, all the usual jazz, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't deter John McClane. John McClane gets worried, but he's now in a rush to rescue his daughter. And in many ways, it does cause John McClane to slip up, but not openly, you know, very bad. And, you know, John McClane just stays on top, does what he needs to do. Bam, 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 bam. You know, he moves on. And it just infuriates Thomas Gabriel to the point to where near the end of the movie, when they I think they have a lot of cyber bonds or whatever money. How I forgot how they got it. It was cyber bonds, or they stole paper bonds from a vault in the Federal Reserve or wherever they were at. But, you know, they were transferring and getting all this money, and they were about to escape on an airplane. And, you know, John McClane shows up. You know, he has Lucy McClane at gunpoint, and he also has Matt Farrell at gunpoint, wanting Matt Farrell to finish the encryption. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. They were using electronic bonds to transfer the money, and he wanted Matt Farrell to finish the electronic encryption and transfer the money, to which Farrell was like slowly taking his time trying to finish. But, you know, I think yeah, Gabriel threatens him. I think Gabriel even shoots Matt Farrell at one point to prove his point that he's being serious. So once again, not a guy you want to not fiddle around with. And, you know, McClane is injured. He got shot in the shoulder with a bullet, and I think Thomas Gabriel comes up to him, like, you know, he's still forcing Matt to finish the transaction, and he gets to a point to where he has John McClane, he thinks he has him down. He shoves the muzzle of the gun right into the shoulder, which is pretty cringe in this movie if you have the unrated version. He shoves the muzzle right into the wound in his shoulder, you know, like, not all the way, but he, like, basically is applying pressure to torture John, to torture Lucy with this, to get Matt to do what he needs. And then he's like, you know, you're dead, John, you're done. And then, like, I forgot what his exact line at the end was, but, like, you know, John McClane, Bruce Willis being a badass, takes both of his hands on Thomas Gabriel. Gabriel is shocked by this, as John McClane wedges the gun into his wound, almost to where it's sticking out of his shoulder almost, but where it goes through his shoulder a little bit, and to where it's through, and then he shoots Gabriel in the chest through his shoulder, you know, killing him, doing the iconic line of yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and then bam. So, you know, in the PG-13 version, which is stupid, they cut out the motherfucker with the gunshot, but it goes through the whole way, and then bam. And it's like, I'll admit, that was fucking brilliant. I loved how John McClane dispatched of Thomas Gabriel this movie, because Timothy Olyphant played this villain, I'll admit, perfectly. I mean, I wouldn't say Thomas Gabriel, like I said, is in my top villains. He's not Simon Gruber. He's not Colonel Stewart. He's not General Esperanza. He's not, you know, Hans Gruber. But he was, I would say, a formidable villain. And way formidable than, I think, the villains in 5. Because I recently watched 5 with one of my friends. And I'm going to be like, you know, they were ruthless people, but, you know, it was kind of like how, I think CinemaSin said it in a review himself, that these Russians were almost a carbon copy of Hans Gruber in many ways, and I hate to say it, that was pretty much the case. You know, it's just one of those instances, and, you know, as cool as it is, it's just sort of like, you know, But hey, you know, Thomas Gabriel, I think, was a great villain for this movie, because he was ruthless and sadistic, which was a nice change. Because not that the other villains weren't, but, like, there was a bit more of a, like, a sort of a kinship with all the other villains. Or even though it allowed for some greed. Like, yeah, Hans Gruber was desperate. The other soldiers were ruthless and sadistic, but they were just underhanded soldiers. You know, there was still that knit connection with them all. And you also had, you know, Simon Gruber, who was about greed, sex, and mostly his comrades, minus Vargo, we would kill when Vargo wasn't let in on the plan that they were going to do the money. But it seems like all of Vargo's men betrayed Vargo, and that's why Vargo was the loose end, because Vargo wasn't willing to probably go with Simon Gruber's plan and Die Hard with a Vengeance. But either way, you know, I think Thomas Gabriel's a good villain, and Timothy Olyphant played him really well. There's also, let's see, Cliff Curtis, who played Bowman. Like I said, Bowman is the FBI agent. I mean, I've only seen Live Free or Die Hard like a handful of times altogether, and I've only seen the whole thing once when I recently watched it again, I think around this time last year. And Bowman is the FBI agent who I think is helping McClane, but also giving McClane a hard time in this movie. Like, you know, he doesn't buy McClane or, you know, Matt Farrell's story about the cyber criminals, Thomas Gabriel, and all these things. But when more information comes out, Bowman starts to see that, oh yeah, this is Thomas Gabriel, and then he tells Matt Farrell and John McClane about, like, what went down and what Thomas Gabriel was doing, how he used to work for the government, and, you know, he let the government know about all these problems. They didn't listen to him, and I think Bowman was like I said, the partner of him, or the senior analyst who put the nail in his coffin. So they knew each other, and it was sort of like this thing of, okay, I don't believe you guys at first, and then I'm slowly going to believe you, and I want to work together with you now that we have to stop him. And, you know, it's like they do, but in many ways it's up to McClane that stops them completely. But, you know, it's like at the end, Bowman earns McQuane's respect, and that's what's probably the best thing at the end of the film is Bowman gets McQuane's respect right at the end, which is a very nice scene to see and to have and to experience, because other than that, there isn't really that much to mention about Bowman. He's a great side main character, and Cliff Curtis plays him, pretty well. I gotta give Cliff Curtis a lot of credit. He created a nice side character in this movie. Then there is early 2000, late 90s actress who, sadly, she disappeared off the face of the earth, I think. Asian actress, or so, if I'm wrong, please say in the comments. I'm not trying to be weird or dumb at all. I mean, I don't know where they come from, and I don't, like I said, I don't want to be, searching through all these things. Well, let me find out. I'm, right here. Oh, no! I was going to say, I apologize, Maggie Q. I'll still say it, but I apologize to you right now. Maggie Q, who I thought was, oh, wow. She's not even, oh, okay, she does have a bit of Asian in her. Because, her father, is Polish and Irish, and Maggie Q, has a Vietnamese mother. Okay, so she is half Asian, Maggie Q, and she's that, but she's actually American. She was born in Hawaii, Honolulu, Hawaii. So that's cool. Well, I'm glad I looked that up. So that's cool. So Maggie Q Plays Mai, who was essentially a partner of Thomas Gabriel's in this movie, and she also was, I think, his love interest, if I do remember. And she was I think she talks very little. She does say certain things to him, but she's more of a silent assassin type. Like, she goes to where she needs to do things, and helps Thomas Gabriel get what he needs. She helps kill a lot of the hackers at the beginning of the movie. She helps Thomas Gabriel get access to the Federal Reserve. I think she also helped Thomas Gabriel kill a lot of the other hackers that were in that van in this movie. Plus, not only that, Thomas Gabriel sends Maggie Q to the power plant that they need to access to kill the entire computer grid, and also power grid of I believe it's a gas power plant and around right outside Washington, D.C. And it's one of those things to where, she's got a tough demeanor. She's silent, tough. You wouldn't want to mess with her. And also, what ends up happening is that, she does all these, dirty, dastardly deeds. We see her as this tough woman. She actually has a fight scene with John McClane in the power plant, and they're, going at each other in this great fight between the two. Taking out, a couple of their minions that Maya's with her, and, they're battling each other. John McClane saying a lot of his classic lines with her. And there's actually a part where they fall down an elevator shaft in, I think, two trailer trucks or pickup trucks, or even Jeeps. I can't remember which, but they're basically fighting each other, hitting each other, and John McClane is struggling to get out, because like I said, they went down this elevator shaft in these cars, and they're hanging there very high up, just dangling. John McClane, I think, is kicking her down, beating her almost to unconsciousness as they're still fighting within these trucks. I think he grabbed a hold of part of the elevator wire, or he grabbed a hold of, or not wire, but cable, and pulled himself up, or he grabbed a hold of something, because I know he just gets out of the trucks before the trucks let go of the cables or whatever they're attached to, and they basically go falling, crashing down into the ground, killing Maggie Q's character in the process. which was like very cool because I liked how John McClane got the one up on her. What I thought was shocking was this was not near the end of the movie when this happened. This was right in the middle of the movie because I thought when you saw Mai, okay, she's gonna be taken out like near the end of the film, like some of the other, you know, main side characters are, like Carl in the first one, or John Amos's character who played that one traitorous general who knew Colonel Stewart and his men, who was actually on their side, and also like Vargo and Die Hard with a Vengeance, or even the actress who played Simon Gruber's love interest. I was gonna say Simon Pegg, but Simon Gruber's love interest. So, you know, you just have all those awesome different things with it. But no, Mai got killed right in the middle of the film, so that was shocking to me. But that was an interesting shock because it shows how Thomas Gabriel has even a bigger vendetta against John McClane, and you know why he also, I think that's when he decided to take John McClane's daughter, and he was going to make originally John McClane's daughter suffer and go through all those you know, things. But it was just like, it was cool, and I thought Maggie Q played a, you know, great character in this film. One thing that I could also say on a side note, yes, here we go, because they have a few other main characters in this movie. Like one the last like big one that I'll say for a main side character is Mary Elizabeth Winstead plays Lucy McClane, who I thought was a good Lucy McClane. Like, she has a tough side to her. She doesn't lie down for the villains when she's kidnapped. She tries to do what she can to like fight back. She's cautious about what she does, but she, you know, she's not your typical, you know, damsel in distress. And I thought Mary Elizabeth Winstead played Lucy McClane really good in this movie too. So it was actually cool to see Mary Elizabeth Winstead in this movie for who she played. I think this was like one of the first movies I knew of her being in, and I wasn't too well aware of. My favorite movie that has Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it is the Thing prequel from 2011, or as we call it, the Thing 2011, but it is a Thing prequel from the original Thing. That's probably one of my favorite movies that she's in, because she really did a great female main lead in that movie. I hate what happens at the end of that movie, but we'll get into it when we get to the Thing prequel. But yeah, I won't talk about it here, because I know I went on a few tangents for this already. Let's see here. And, like, things of note, too, like, I could probably notice the, music in this movie, and, let's see, Marco Beltrami does the, movie in here, and I think Marco Beltrami is a, Italian composer, if I remember. I'm gonna, let's see. Yeah, I know you're probably gonna shut down soon, Xbox. If you do, go ahead. I don't mind. But let's see. Yeah, let me click on full cast because I wanna basically get blah, blah, blah. What is it? Sorry about that. Let's see. Hold on, we got a ton of cast there, but there we go. Music by Marco Beltrami, because I want to make sure I get it right. And yeah, Marco Beltrami, who actually, yeah, I would say he's from Italian descent, but he's also from New York. Let's see. Yeah, he is though. Oh wow, he did the music for World War Z, and he also did the music for Knowing in 2009. I did not know that. Interesting. But, hey, I shan't, oh, and well, Blade 2 makes sense. Marco Beltrami's done all of, most of, Guillermo del Toro's work. The Mighty Ducks Game Changer. Wow, guys. I'm on Internet Movie Database, and I'm seeing how they're doing a Mighty Duck show, apparently, on Disney Plus. Oh my god, you have the originals. The originals are probably going to be way better than this current one. This current one may be good too, but speaking of which, I need to get the Mighty Ducks trilogy on DVD. Because I only have the third one on VHS, but I need to get that on DVD. But yeah, Marco Beltrami did the music for this second film, or for this film, and he takes over for Michael Kamen. And I have to say that he did a very good job capturing Michael Kamen's likeness for the Die Hard films, because like Marco Beltrami knew exactly the right Die Hard notes to hit, and he knew what he had to overall do. And I mean, I'm not going to say it's a carbon copy because he added new styles to it, but at the same time, he knew exactly how to do. Oh my god. I did not know that. No wonder Marco Beltrami took over probably for Michael Kamen. And X-Men in 2000 was one of his last films. I figured I'd look it up just to be sure, because I wasn't sure if he was dead or not, because I didn't know how old he was. But he was only 55 when he died, and he died in 2003. Oh my god. Man, the guy is a god to 80s action movies and action movies in general. And, in my opinion, he actually did a great score for X-Men as well. Wow, that's shocking to me, guys. That is... Dang, that shocks me. I didn't know Michael Kamen was dead. Holy crap. I mean, the guy who did the music for the Lethal Weapon movies, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves here, and Don Juan Morocco, X-Men, the Die Hards. I mean, oh man, I did not know he was dead, and that sucks. He was only 55 years old. So I want to see. I wonder if it says what he... Oh, man, he died of a heart attack? Oh, that sucks. That is lame. That makes me sad, guys. Well, you're getting... Like I said, I'm raw off the cuff when I do these things, and man, that sucks. That really sucks. But either way, I was talking about how Marco Beltrami captured the essence of Michael Kamen's music. I really think he did. He added a lot of the same pitches we hear, a lot of the same notes, which is fine. I don't mind when they do that, but he added nice new action themes, nice new melodies, like Michael Kamen did. And like he knew how to. Marco Beltrami knows how to do action movies. If I would have to say, if there was a second Michael Kamen in existence, or who emulates Michael Kamen, I would say that would be Marco Beltrami. Marco Beltrami has done a lot of good scores. I have to give Marco Beltrami credit. Like, he knows how to do action. I think he can also do drama. He knows how to do horror, too. Marco Beltrami has done horror movies. He knows how to do horror and moments, too. Because, if I'm correct, Marco Beltrami also did the music for the Hellboy movies, which were fantastic scores, and a lot of stuff like that. So, again, a great score by Marco Beltrami. And Marco Beltrami, I bow to you for continuing great music for Live Free or Die Hard, and also for let's see, a good day to Die Hard. And because I had no idea Michael Kamen died, so hats off to you, sir, for doing great scores to continue the great Michael Kamen's legacy. And in my opinion, I will do what I can to remember you too, because you are just as good as Michael Kamen. But man, I'm bummed out about that. I did not know Michael Kamen died. I had no idea he died in 2003. You think with how many 80s movies that guy did, And the big 80s movies, like I said, the Lethal Weapon series, the Die Hard series, for at least the first 3 of the Die Hard trilogy, I should say, X-Men in 2000, you know, even though Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is not remembered, that is still a decent movie. And, you know, yes, Kevin Costner is bizarre, and that whole movie was bizarre, but that movie was a lot... Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is a lot of fun. I enjoyed him. Plus, you have Alan Rickman again as the Sheriff of Nottingham. How can you not like that? And then, you know, again, like, he did the movie score for License to Kill, which was a great James Bond movie score. Like, he knew how to do a James Bond movie, and I liked Michael Kamen for it. So, rest in peace, Michael Kamen. Great work, Marco Beltrami, for, you know, emulating his legacy and making a great legacy in your own life. And, you know, man, may it continue, because, God, I didn't know he was dead. That is such a bummer. That sucks. Sorry, I'm getting caught up in that. I had no idea Michael Kamen was dead. I know I've said it many times, but I'm sorry. That blows me away. Before we get to because I will do the Rotten Tomato reviews, like I say in a moment. We will get to those. Overall, this movie, like I say, it's a decent movie. I'll tell you the rating right now. I give it a loose 7 out of 10 to a strong 8 out of 10 because the unrated version of this movie is worth it. For some reason, because of all the weird cyber stories and all like some of the weirdness this movie had, plus with the PG-13 rating, this is sort of like my least favorite of the Die Hard movies. I mean, I do like Live Free or Die Hard, but it is like my last place winner because, I don't know, it did not click with me as that did. It didn't even click with me as how the 5th movie does. The 5th movie has its problems too, and I will discuss it when we do A Good Day to Die Hard, but, like, I don't know, Live Free or Die Hard, it didn't fully click with me. It was probably something to do a little bit with the story. Justin Long, sorry Justin Long, like I said, you were decent, but man, you do get annoying in this movie. And also, like, some of the cyber stuff is, like, it's sometimes goofy. Like, you couldn't fully see John McClane really giving a full shit about this in many ways, but at the same time, they made it, Len Wiseman and co. made it work enough. But the big glaring takeaway I'm not going to forgive Len Wiseman and company for doing is why the hell did you guys do PG-13? This movie should have never, ever been PG-13. You shouldn't have, didn't even need to make an unrated version. These movies have never needed an unrated version. Like, for instance, you know, the movies were always rated R. Why you couldn't do a rated R rating for this movie to show us the violence and the accentuations and things like that? Because I know you want to reach a wider audience, but it's so stupid to hear you and your producer, and I think your writer, in the audio commentary of this DVD movie here. It is so upsetting to hear you guys say, oh, we always intended to do a Die Hard movie that was rated R, but we wanted to reach younger fans, so that's why we made it PG-13. You shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have done it. I can't even watch the whole PG-13 movie because the way you guys edit out the violence that you filmed in full for the unrated version, the edit cuts in Live Free or Die Hard, this is probably why this is my last favorite, because the edit cuts in this movie for the language and the violence are flippin' terrible. The way they cut away from stuff, the way they don't show it, the way they cut out a lot of McQuain's swearing and mannerisms is friggin' terrible. I mean, terrible editing. And who edited this? And now I will basically call it a piece of crap. Yeah, Nicholas the Tough. Why couldn't you say, Nicholas the Tough, that it should have been kept a rated R movie and they should have just kept it? Because, man, your edits for this PG-13, and I don't mean to insult you because you're probably a decent editor, but it was crap. The PG-13 version of this movie is bullshit. It should have never happened. I know this is a rant right now, but if you guys have seen the PG-13 movie, like I say, if you like it, that's you. But to me, the edits, the cuts, the way they cut out the language was bad. Very, very bad. It's worse than some of the crap we used to see on TV. Like, hell, like one of my most TV movies I saw as a kid, which was PG-13, but there was quite a bit of bad language and violence in there, was Jurassic Park. But they were clever, at least with the edits, to where you could still enjoy the movie in full and laugh at maybe how they get rid of some of the swearing and whatnot. But, you know, you could still enjoy the movie in full, and, you know, some of the violent stuff they cut out, like, yeah, you can see why that was bad, but they still gave you most of the extent. This PG-13 movie was, it's like, oh, someone gets shot, we're going to do weird close-ups and cutaways that make sure it looks fudged. I'm sorry, it looked bad. It looked fucking bad. So, sorry, Len Wiseman, Nicholas the Toth, and the rest of you, I can't forget that. This movie should have been rated R from the start. You even said it in the friggin' audio commentary. You always meant to make a die-hard film. You know what? A lot of young kids find ways to see it anyway. I saw a lot of the Die Hard films that, yes, were edited, but they were on ABC at times, UPN. A lot of cool things. Like, that's what I tell people. ABC and UPN and all those channels were great back in the day before cable took over and became the way of, we show many movies over and over again to the time you're fucking sick and tired of them. Like, man, back then, when you saw a movie on TV, they were better with variety, they were better with what movies you showed. There were a lot of horror movies on TV I never thought they would show on TV. The original When a Stranger Calls, ABC had Alien Resurrection, and yeah, I remember as a kid some of the stuff they cut out when I see the theatrical version and even the director's cut, but you know what? The edits were still pretty fucking good. And even when I watched the original 3 Die Hards on UPN or ABC, the edits were pretty flippin' decent. You know, I mean, my God. The way you guys edited Live Free or Die Hard was terrible. I'm sorry. Better ways to go about it, guys. Up in it right there. I saw that. Stop it. Better not be blitzing out again. I wouldn't doubt if it's my webcam that does it. I wouldn't doubt it. So I have to probably find, I mean, if it happens again for this one, I'm going to be looking up see if there is a USB splitter available online, because I'm definitely going to need one for my computer then if I need to use my web camera, because I am so tired of all the that you guys hear, and that's me editing it out, because that's what happens to a lot of my videos, and I'm tired of it. Sorry for that. So let's get to some of the comments. I'm gonna try to make it quick because I need to walk my dog and I want to spray with my weeds, and if I don't have time to spray my weeds, I'm gonna be spraying my weeds tomorrow before my friends come over because having a friend over tomorrow, and yeah, I'll do it then after I'm done talking to one of my friends, and then yeah, when I do what I need to do. But let's see. I'm on Rotten Tomatoes, trademark, and this is what they say. So again, trademarking Rotten Tomatoes, giving them credit. You know, YouTube hasn't censored me yet, but I'm always careful because you never friggin' know. Let's see. Let's see. Critics? Wow, Live Free or Die Hard is certified fresh. 82% from critics. 86% audience score. So wow, that's pretty dang good. I would not have thought that at all, really. So hey. Because like I said, I even gave it a wavering 7 to solid 8. So I guess, I mean, I liked it pretty well too. Let's see, and the critic consensus is this, and I quote, Live Free or Die Hard may be preposterous, but it's an efficient, action-packed summer popcorn flick with thrilling stunts and a commanding performance by Bruce Willis. Fans of the previous Die Hard films will not be disappointed. That last part is debatable. That last sentence is debatable. Because, like I said, it's my least favorite, but that's only because of the PG-13 and the edit cuts and some of the characterization. Like, again, Justin Long, and I'll admit this too, even at times, Thomas Gabriel, Timothy Oliphant. I don't know why I couldn't gravitate towards them fully, but, you know, hey, I just couldn't. So, that's debatable, but overall, I do agree with that quote. Let's see. Let's get to some of the other critic reviews. I'll do these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll do these 6. Starting with the first one from David Anson from Newsweek, and I quote, "But ultimately, it's Bruce Willis who makes this loopy action movie so endearing, nobody dies it better." Wow, David Anson, I get it, but I would not have quoted it like that, because that was extremely corny. But, yeah, you're right. Like, Bruce Willis knows how to make these action movies endearing. I do agree with you on that, and I agree with you on that 100%. Like, if for some reason Bruce Willis was not in these films, I probably would not have cared to see him, because you can't have, in my opinion, you can't have Die Hard without Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is Die Hard. I mean, you know, I can't really say that that's not true. He really is John McClane in the Die Hard films. You really can't argue that. Oh, that was also from, let's see, well, I was all the way from 2018. Yeah, a lot of these are older reviews, definitely here. Let's see here. We also have a quote from June 18th of 2020 from Kim Newman of Sight and Sound, and I quote, "This is a rotten review, though it's mostly entertaining if overlong. There is a sense that the whole thing has become somewhat rote." I wish I knew what that big word meant, because I don't know what R-O-T-E, rote is, or rote is. I believe I know what he's getting at with that, which I can see. I wouldn't say 2 hours and 9 minutes is overly long, because most of the Die Hard films were 2 hours long, if not an hour and 45 minutes. And that critique is going to be coming from me in A Good Day to Die Hard, because even though I did like A Good Day to Die Hard, that movie went way too fast. That movie was like boom, boom, boom. But that will come up when I get to A Good Day to Die Hard. So I don't agree with the first part of it, but I think overall I do agree with your quote, Kim Newman. Let's see. We have a positive critique here by Ben Walters from Time Out, November 17th of 2011. And I quote, "Len Wiseman handles many of the set pieces with flair and tension." You focused on set pieces? The set pieces were nice, but, you know, I mean, it really gave you a look into Washington, D.C. and possible cybercrime, so I guess I agree with that, but that's all that you have to say for this film? I think maybe you're like me. Maybe this is your least favorite film, because if that's all you have, Ben Walters, wow. So, I mean, glad you like the film, but wow, Len Wiseman handles set pieces. Okie dokie. Like, overall, what'd you feel of the film? Like, I mean, you know, like, you can add set pieces as part of what you like, but geez Louise, that sort of seems like deflate. Let's see here. Let's see, here's the fourth one. It's a certified fresh from October 18, 2008 from Bob Mondello, nprg.org. And I quote, "It's not remotely plausible, but with Willis's McQueen leaping onto the tail fins of passing jet fighters and bringing down helicopters by launching police cars at them, there's enough stuff blowing up that action fans won't mind much." it's ridiculous, but once again, we've seen McQueen do the ridiculous to come out of top time and time again. So I agree with your quote. I mean, and you're right that the movie isn't, plausible, but I mean, I not only like it for the action, but everything with the McQueen character and the story is mostly there. I mean, it may be weirdly brought together, but yet, which is why I still like the film, even though it's my least favorite, because it still fits in the Die Hard universe. I don't like how Len Wiseman and co. handled it, but I do agree with what you're getting at there. Again, Bob Mondello. Let's see. Oh, here's an interesting one. This is from a Rotten review from January 4th, 2008 or 2008 from Andrea Granval of the Chicago Reader, and she says, "The bad guy's omnipotence at nearly every turn dilutes the film's suspense." I don't know about the suspense, but their believability in thinking you can win and thinking they can win, yeah, I would have to say that's true. Because there's times where Thomas Gabriel goes on his rants and comes out like an idiot. There's some other things that some of his henchmen are too geeky at times, and they like. I think that's another reason why I couldn't get into this film, because it seemed, Thomas Gabriel, in my opinion, like I said, is a good villain. It's just that I think they were trying to overcompensate for someone who could be way smarter than John McClane, and it came off terrible. In my opinion, it came off terrible, and because it's weird. It really is weird. I want to put Thomas Gabriel in a top echelon of villains, but he really comes off just being a spaz. And just like, oh, I can talk smart and do this, and but I don't make it believable. Ha! Like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Yeah, that was shit. But if I ever get the new DC movies, oh god, you're gonna hear me rip those a new one from Kingdom Come. Alright, the last one. It's a certified fresh quote. From November 27, 2007, Owen Gleiberman from Entertainment Weekly. An enjoyable pop projection of post-9/11 anxiety. That said, it also makes you nostalgic for the days when irresponsible action movies didn't have to deal with it. I quite agree. Because that's why we've seen a lot of action movies go by the wayside nowadays, and why they're trying to find different ways to do them, because the classic terrorist villains, True Lies, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon in some ways, and all that stuff, like those types of terrorist acts we don't see, because it's almost like nobody wants to relive 9/11 or anything that could be that bad, because we have had a lot of terrorist attacks and things that could happen. But at the same time, these things that we see the villains do in these movies, as messed up and fun as it is, stuff like this could possibly happen and be possible. I guess, again, it's supposed to take us out of it and want to see good. As I would view it, it's good overcoming evil. That evil doesn't always win, because we have enough evil in the world, and it takes you out of it that good could possibly win. Unless you want to see, action movies based on true stories, or dramas that have a lot of action in it based on true stories, like Munich. What a sad film that was. I still need to get that Steven Spielberg film. Munich is an excellent movie, but man, is that overall sad, because you find out this stuff really happened, and holy crap, it's eye-opening. But that's what you like about it. All these ridiculous things in action movies can happen, and good people either go through a bunch of shit, but they overcome their adversities. And, in many ways, that's still shown. That's, I think, why I gravitate towards John Wick. John Wick is a return to the essential 80s action film in many ways, shown in great new ways that we've not seen before, but yet, we see John Wick go through so much crap that we want him to succeed. And it's the same thing with John McClane. Like, John McClane, out of many other action films, like, yeah, I know we see Mel Gibson go through a lot in the action films. He's been through Lethal Weapon, Mad Max, and all that. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger goes through a lot of stuff. But, you know, John McClane gets terribly injured almost all the time in all these movies. I really think A Good Day to Die Hard is his least injurable film. Because, I mean, all these other films, including this fourth one, he gets terribly, terribly hurt. And it's like, you feel so bad for the guy. And it sucks because he has a lot of scars and bruises to prove it. But that's how far he was willing to go to stop these people. We want to believe in John McClane. We want to believe in our heroes. Whether it's based on true stories or not, we want to believe these heroes can do these things. So they're there to protect people like us. Or we would like to inspire to be people like this. You know, movies can influence people in good ways. A lot of people say it's bad ways. But again, if you ever have family that question you on this, talk to them about this. Because I admit, there's people who have seen films like this who've gone on to be cops and good cops. I mean, yeah, they're not doing what John McClane's doing, but they know how to separate that reality of fact and fiction. But again, you know, I mean, this is why we love these things, because it's good overcoming evil. Simple. Alright, guys, but we are at the end of the review, and wow, I went over an hour again. Who would have thought it? And dang, did I get dark. Well, the sun's going down. Like I said, the sun's going down here in Arizona at 6:30, and I need to take my dog for a walk. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to the weeds tonight. So that's sort of, that part sucks a bit, but hey, I will do what I can. You know, I'll try to get out there tomorrow to spray the weeds, but I'll work on a lot of my stuff inside the house today. But yeah, let me know. Sorry for the side tangent again. I've been on several for this review. But let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of Live Free or Die Hard? Do you like this movie? Is it one that you enjoy, that you would like to see? Is it sort of like with me? Is it like your last place sitting in the Die Hard films and whatnot? But yeah, just let me a comment. Leave a comment down below, and just let me know. Let me know what you think of Live Free or Die Hard, because I would love your guys' comments. Because I think I've been helping stuff out in many ways. Because I know because I want to see all my reviews, and I'll probably go through them again. So I know I've been helping out my own channel myself, but it seems like even with me doing that, it's been causing you guys, more people, to view my channel, which is awesome. Like I say, if I become big, cool, but I don't expect I will. But hey, for those of you who watch this forever, how long, I appreciate it. And for those of you who left a comment, cool. I appreciate that too. So this is L12 Boku, coming at you with another movie review, and I will see you guys again. But until then, you know, here's my new message. And I'm going to change it up a little bit for you guys, because there's a third part I'm going to add now. So here we go, part 3 of this thing that I say at the end of the things. Fuck Joe Biden, fuck that equally stupid bitch Jen Psaki, and fuck the establishment. See ya.